Today we're going to talk about the M361 LMH. Basically, this was designed specifically for a single rechargeable battery. It does work fine on two CR123s, but you can't go any higher than that as far as voltage. So 3.4 to 6 volts. Now, what I'm doing here is I'm taking out the old incandescent Surefire bulb. I'm going to loosen this up so the batteries are not, I'll just take them out. All right, just drop the LMH in there. Screw the head back on. And you want to screw it down until it's tight. There should be no rattling. If you have rattling, then that means it's not seated good in there, seated right in there correctly. Sometimes if someone has bored out a light for an 18650, they'll remove the little shelf in there and then it'll rattle. If that's the case, you're going to have to put some kind of spacer or wrap the drop-in in some kind of foil or something. You don't want it to rattle. If it rattles, you're going to have intermittent contact. Put the batteries back in. Screw the thing back on. Now, the LMH is a 3-mode drop-in. In other words, it has 3 brightness levels: low, medium, and high. There's some confusion about it because the way it works with on time. In other words, it's got a timer in there that if this thing is on for longer than a second, then it's going to go back to the low mode. So under normal usage, it's always going to go back to the low mode. But in order to get it to advance to the next mode, you have to push it in succession faster than 1 second between actuations. So 1, 2, now it's in low because I pushed it again, within that 1 second window. All right, I've had it on for longer than a second, so now it's going to go back to low. There it is, there's low. I've had it on for longer than a second, so I want to go to high. 1, 2, 3. If you've gotten to high, it's always going to go back to low because that's the next mode. You can trick it. I can go 1, 2, and I've not, I didn't leave it on for longer than a second, so it's going to make a liar out of me. 1, 2, I've not left it on for longer than a second. Next time it's going to come on in high, just like that. Now, a lot of people say, well, my 6P doesn't have a clicky. Will it work without a clicky? Yes, it will, because you can use the twist to do the same thing. I want medium. There you go. So it's a different kind of manipulation than using a clicky. Same thing, I could 1, 2, and then twist it, but that's kind of a pain. So what I like to do is just, twist it to get where I want to be, and then leave it. And that is how the LMH works. The reason why I use on time instead of off time is because in order for it to count off time, then the little microcontroller in there has to be running when the flashlight is turned off, and that uses more battery power than using on time.